Colin Kaepernick's lead once again, now filing a collusion case against the NFL. The former Pro Bowler remains unsigned after becoming a free agent in March when his rookie contract with the Niners expired. Damien, I want to hear from you on this, though. What's your reaction to this move by Reid?
Well, my biggest thing is you hear a lot of people want to equate, what Eric, they want to try to bunch Eric Reid and Colin Kaepernick situation together, but there's differences in their situations. When you look at Colin Kaepernick, obviously he's a quarterback, and the way the league used Colin Kaepernick, whether it was Jim Harbaugh, whether it's Jim Harbaugh, they used him, the run pass option. They didn't use him in a traditional sense at the quarterback position. So when a lot of teams could go out there and say, he doesn't fit our system, he doesn't fit our style of play that we want at the quarterback position. And that's, frankly, for a lot of teams, it's a handy excuse that they can use to not sign a Colin Kaepernick. When it comes to Eric Reid, though, it's a different scenario because a couple things. One, plays the safety position, one of the most important positions in the National Football League. We see how the defense is evolving in the National Football League. It's a very important position. But the fact that Eric Reid played multiple, he's very versatile and played multiple positions with the 49ers. Not only was it safety, he played linebacker, he played the slot. He did a lot of different things for the San Francisco 49ers where you look at him and you say, this guy can't help our team win. This is not a player where people can kind of, question whether his skill set is falling off. There's no question. You look at the film, Eric Reid's skill set hasn't fallen off. He's been a very good player. And I also want to point out that not only Eric Reid, but Kenny Vaccaro, who's also a free agent for the New Orleans Saints, who also knelt during the national anthem. Do you think it's a coincidence that both of these guys are unsigned free agents that hasn't been signed yet? That is not a coincidence right there. So I think that's how they differ. That's how they differ from Colin Kaepernick.
It's a great point. It's the reason why it was unfortunate that Michael Sam was the first openly gay player in the NFL, because he wasn't a star. And so eventually he's not in the league, and it's because he's not good enough. It's not like if a star were, the way Jackie Robinson broke the color line in baseball in 1947, on the merits, you couldn't argue he didn't belong there. And on the merits, Eric Reid should have a starting job as at least a strong safety somewhere in the NFL because he's a good player. It's a very good point, Damien. Let me say, and I go over this argument every time this comes up nowadays because it's nuanced and I want people to understand. He is saying there's collusion among owners. I'll get to that in a second. First, let me say, and this does apply to Kaepernick and it applies to Eric Reid. I know First Amendment rights don't extend to the workplace in the sense that, sure, you can say whatever you want, but you're not guaranteed employment. You may lose employment based on what you say. Sure, that's true. However, if you're going to say, and that is the position, that it is a protest, a political protest, when players kneel instead of stand for the national anthem, this is a binary choice. It means it's either or. If kneeling means you are making political speech, that's a form of political speech, then standing is also a form of political speech. That's the way it has to work, rationally. Therefore, if kneeling is against the desires of the owners in terms of the National Football League, in the league itself, in terms of promoting the kind of image they want, then standing is in line with their views that way, meaning you are parroting their political speech. And I do believe that the First Amendment, while it doesn't extend to the workplace the way I said earlier, I believe it does, if it were challenged in the courts, extend in the sense that an employer cannot make as a condition of employment the public parroting of their political speech. How could that be? And it's analogous to me, Damien, of, in the South during the Civil Rights Movement, of a small business owner saying, we're not going to serve black people here. Well, why not? Well, it's an issue for our business, profitability. Right? If we do, the social kind of climate is that people won't patronize our business. And so we're not going to do it. Profitability was a losing argument against discrimination then because there are constitutional guarantees in America still. And I believe it's a losing argument now, profitability of the league. They have to parrot our political speech or else we lose money. I believe it's a losing argument now. And so whether or not there's actual collusion among owners, and if not, boy, it has the sense that it's coordinated, the way they've drummed out certain players. Whether or not it's actually collusion, I believe it's against, it's un-American and against the rules. I believe if it was challenging the courts, it wouldn't stand up. That if that de facto, even without a rule technically in place, if you don't parrot the political speech of the owners of the NFL, you will not be hired to work in the NFL. I don't think they can do that.
Well, listen, moving forward, I think for Eric Reid, when you file, collusion charges against the National Football League, against the owners, your career is basically done, because we know that once this happens, no owner is going to sign up for a player that has some type of lawsuit against the National Football League. So I think I think for Eric Reid, this is bigger than just trying to gain employment for a team moving forward. But in October last year, the owners had a meeting, and one of the issues that were brought up was the fact that how Trump kind of put himself in this situation, and the implications of him putting himself in the national debate was that Trump could have a hand in affecting, the tax portion of, the National Football League, altering that where it could not be where it could hurt the league's bottom line. So from that standpoint, if you're thinking from an owner, hey, if this guy or guys, if Eric Reid or Kenny Vicario or any of these guys would take a knee, if they're going to hurt us to the point where, the president of the United States comes in and talks about maybe it'll hurt the bottom line of our league, you don't think these type of discussions are going to be happening with the owners as to try to keep these guys out of it and try to move the league forward from the political protest?
That would be collusion. That would be collusion.
Damian, before we wrap, because I think it's a powerful point, I just want to reiterate what you said earlier. So basically, the difference with Colin Kaepernick is they have a convenient excuse that maybe they don't want this running style quarterback. But Eric Reid, former Pro Bowler, he's ready to play right now at a myriad of positions, can add value to multiple teams. So we can't think anything else other than it's blackballing.
Right, absolutely. Like I said, with Colin Kaepernick, people could use the convenient excuse of it's the system. He doesn't fit our system because of the style of play that coaches that he had deployed him in. Whereas with Eric Reid can play multiple positions within any system. Yeah. So that's the biggest difference between Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid.
All right. Appreciate that. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. Carson Wentz ahead of schedule in his return, but did Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl impact this timetable? The answer after the break. And you don't want to miss what Adam Schefter is saying about team interest in Dez Bryant. We'll react to that as well.
On the Hook is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
The sub